Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time for Nate. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for Puppet Master 2, which came out in 1990. And this was the first one I saw when I was a kid. This is the first Puppet Master film I saw, so there's a little bit of nostalgia in liking this one. I would say yes, I liked it more than the first because I felt that the puppets felt like they did a bit more. Like Tunneler, you actually get to see tunneling into someone's head, while in the first one it was just pretty much hinted at. And then you saw an aftermath. It felt like the pace was a little bit quicker. There's still some images I remember, like Blade, when he jumps down, he's running towards the girl, and some pretty good stop motion. I know anytime Full Moon would do these promotions, and they even use that clip in other movies. I think it was it Demonic Toys or somewhere, like someone was watching it on a TV, and then watching a film, and it's Puppet Master 2, it's that same shot of Blade coming down and running towards her. I always thought that looked really cool. It does have some good stop motion. I do like the look of the puppets. I feel like they did a bit more in this one. And the villain, granted, I don't know why Toulon is evil, because before and after this, it's never showcased that Toulon is evil. So, again, if someone can explain to me, and someone said, I don't know why, when I review Puppet Master 1, why is Toulon evil? Again, before and after, they never showcased Toulon being evil. But hey, maybe it's one of those where it was the second film, they wanted to branch out, they said, well, maybe Toulon has an evil side. Which again is weird, because he killed himself because he didn't want to give it to the Nazis, but then he's like, well, I'm fine with killing people and being like the Nazis, so I didn't. In the scheme of things, doesn't really fit with the story. So yeah, there's really no reason Toulon is evil. Also, at the end of the first one, the puppets had disappeared, or seemed like they were gone. And now the puppets are alive. And I thought they said in the first one, the puppets, they need a master to be alive. And like if it's a good master, then they're a good one. If they're a bad master, they're a bad one. So why were the puppets kept alive to be able to bring Toulon back to life after how many years it's been timeline-wise from the first to the second? I know, I'm looking too deep in a Puppet Master movie, but these are just questions that arise when I'm watching this film again as an adult compared to when I was a kid. Now, apparently there were a lot of problems behind the scenes of this, because the guy who directed it never directed it again. It's a guy named David Allen. He did effects, like stop motion and other stuff for the first movie. And David Allen apparently was just way over his head. The producer, David DeCotto, was saying that this guy, he hated working with this director because he didn't know what he was doing. He was a terrible director, it was a terrible script. He was days and days behind. There's many shots that weren't even finished. I mean, again, even with that, I still thought it was a better movie than the first one. I felt like just went at a quicker pace. And I didn't mind some of the actors. Granted, the characters are not have any depth at all. But the actors, like, I didn't mind the lead lady. I forget her name. She was with this paranormal researcher group, which there's 4 of them. There's her brother, there's these other 2 people. One of them is actually Jeff Weston, who I remember he was Captain Wild Bill in American Ninja 2. He was a captain looking over Michael Dudikoff and Steve James. And American Ninja 2 is my favorite of that franchise. Just I'm watching, I recognize him. Oh shit, it's Captain Wild Bill. And I liked him in that movie, so it was kind of nice to see him again in another film. Nita Talbot as the psychic, was she's the mother of our lead guy who comes into the picture later on, who teams up with our lead girl to deal with the puppets. Nita Talbot I liked. I kind of wish she was in the film more. But I remember she was in an episode of Kolchak the Night Stalker, the werewolf episode, which is actually one of my favorite episodes of that show. She teams up with Kolchak and gives him information and stuff, helps him with stuff. I thought Nita Talbot was decent. And now, having watched the first one with fresh eyes and ears, didn't realize just how much, if you're a fan of the first film, they kind of shish kebab that ending. Because at the end of that film, the lady who's the wife of the bad guy, she took over the place, and she has the dog, and the dog came to life. And then Paul LeMat, like, he was happy, and they hugged, and he left, and it seemed like things were fine. Well, apparently that girl in the last movie, she died from having her brain out of her nose. I'm like, I guess we're assuming the puppets did it, but who controlled the puppets to do that? Because again, it was told in the first one, the puppets are good if it's a good master, if they're bad if it's a bad master. So if there's no master, again, are they just dormant or they just go back to evil? Kind of like the Simpsons with the Krusty doll. Someone put this to evil. Maybe it was stuck on evil. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, granted, I don't care about the characters in the first one, so I don't care what happened to them. But I'm just saying, if you're a fan of the first movie, you may be pissed that the girl in the last one, she's dead. And apparently Paul LeMat's character went insane and then is now in an asylum. So, there you go. Yeah, I do like the look of the dolls, like in the first movie. I think the doll designs, a blade and such are cool. Tunneler. I like the new addition of Torch. I think Torch is a really cool puppet. One of my favorites. My favorite would be Six Shooter. He doesn't pop up till the third film. I love the Six Shooter puppet. I think he's really cool. Cool design. Cowboy with 6 arms and 6 guns. It seemed like he became one of the more popular. I would say my top 3 puppets would be Six Shooter, Blade, and then Torch. I really do like Torch. I like the design. I like the flamethrower a bit. I think in the first film, like, I didn't care about all the psychic stuff and the weird dreams. I felt like went nowhere, and like I said, this one seemed like it moved a bit quicker. It seems like it had a little bit of a bigger body count as well to keep things going a bit. Like this redneck group, redneck couple get killed. One of them is actually George Butt Flower. And if you don't know who that is, he's a guy in the state of New York who's like, I knew if I did this, I'd be president. Hail to the chief. Da, da, da. He was drunk in that. He was a drunk bum in Back to the Future. He was in They Live. He was the guy explaining to Keith David and Roddy Piper, they got things going on around here. They're running the show. He's popped up in other like John Carpenter movies and stuff like that. He's one of those character actors I recognize him. Even though I don't know why Toulon is a villain, he still felt like a bit of a better villain to me than the guy in the first one. Because the guy in the first one you didn't really know anything of other than a flashback or two until the very end. Here, Toulon, looking like the Invisible Man, with all the bandages and stuff, is walking around, and I'm trying to think of how he sounded. Hello there. Kind of sounds like Bane from Dark Knight Rises. But I don't know if like a little bit of yeah, I can't even. I was thinking like what actor he reminds me of with the voice. Well, hello there. How are you doing today? But he was still a villain that seemed to stick out a bit more compared to the guy in the first one. And then when it gets to the end with these like creepy mannequin things he's going to put his body into, again that just felt a bit more memorable to me compared to the first one. And there was like nice little touches, like they doing an autopsy on one of the puppets. There was a nice little detail to put in there. Some of the puppets actually get killed, like the leech woman. And I read up somewhere that it was because the studio, somewhere in the studio, did not like the character of the leech woman, and they're like, at least kill her off. If you guys ever do some more, at least kill that puppet off. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what their problem is with that, but oh well. I mean, I don't care. I much prefer Torch. And I thought the first one didn't really seem that gory. I know a few people said the first film was so gory. I don't know what they mean. Maybe the final bit with the elevator, and the only one that maybe they just when the guy's fingers get cut off. But other than that, this one just felt a bit bloodier. Even like someone gets burned, and then Blade does this, and like stabs the charred head to pick at it to get the brain. I'm like, eee. I thought that was a neat effect. You have this one weird bit where it seems kind of just put in there. I guess because the puppets are being controlled to gather pieces of brains because Toulon wants to make this mixture to put him and to bring also his wife back to life. So there's this little kid who has this weird like S&M thing where he's got a GI Joe doll, and he puts a fucking doll facing a tree and he starts whipping it. I'm like, you're whipping the back of a GI Joe doll. He's gonna grow up to be, I don't know, Slave from South Park. I don't know. I guess he's supposed to be playing Indiana Jones, but I don't remember Indiana Jones taking a guy, putting him against a tree, and whipping his back. Well, I did. Maybe he thought GI Joe was Indiana Jones, but again, maybe they did it in Temple of Doom, but I don't remember if it was a whip. I don't know. I mean, he mentions the word indie, but then I'm like, well, I don't remember Indiana Jones whipping someone in the back, and again, maybe the GI Joe is supposed to be indie. But I thought the kid said he was playing Indiana Jones. I'm like, I didn't. Do you think Indiana Jones is S&M? I don't fucking know. It just seemed weird to me. And I think the torch killed the kid, which is fine because the kid was a little asshole. So if that's the case, I mean, that's a bit ballsy. Like I said, you did a bit more blood with some people die. Yeah, that great bit with Blade, like the cool stop motion where he jumps off the bed and is running towards the lady to cut her face up. Like I said, I like the lead lady researcher. There's the other guy who's the son of the psychic lady. His name is Michael. He was pretty bland. He was pretty bland. I would say he was the weakest actor in the group. And it made me go, well, why can't they just be Nita Talbot? Because I thought she was a better actress. Like, this guy, he's just very bland, very milquetoast. Not much personality. Probably a guy that would work better in a soap opera TV show. And like I say, he was the weakest part of the cast. I thought the lead lady was much better than him. Like I say, he was, I would say, the worst actor in the movie. Like I said, very milquetoast. at least you have the characters fighting some of the puppets in the finale, which that was another thing that I didn't mention that I had an issue with the first film is that there's never a time where anyone's like fighting the puppets and knocking the puppets and throwing the puppets down. At least have a bit of a fight, which there is here, which was nice to see. So that's what I mean, like, I like that it's a little bit bloodier. I like the body count's a little bit higher. I like that some of the actors, like the lead and the psychic lady, I like those actors a bit more than the actors in the first one. The music has a good theme, just like the first one. The well, I know I spoiled it, but I'm thinking of someone who's watching Puppet Master 2. You've either seen these movies or you're never going to watch them anyway. Spoilers. It sets up the sequel that obviously they never went with. I fucking hate when they do that with movies. When they set up sequels and then when the next one comes around and it's not fucking there. They set up this bit where I guess the psychic lady, Camille, was the character's name. She's brought back to life, but it's also like in this creepy mannequin body. And they're going to the mentally troubled tots and teens. And hey, if they see something, no one's going to believe the children. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck are they going to kill the kids? Are they going to try to entertain the kids? Are they going to try to turn the kids into other creepy mannequin things? I don't really know what their plan is. And why is Camille evil? I guess this potion, when you get brought back to life, you're just evil. That's just the thing. No matter what, you're just evil. I don't fucking know. Maybe like I said, apparently the director had a hard time making this film, and that's why he never directed it again. And I don't know if the person's even alive or not. To defend himself. But yeah, Puppet Masters 2, I wouldn't say I liked it as much as I did when I was a kid. I know there's a lot more flaws, but this I liked. I mean, when it goes to Puppet Master, this one, 3, 4, 5, those are ones I gravitate more towards. The first one I still find boring. After 5, I completely forgot someone reminded me of Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys with Corey Feldman. That is absolute dog shit of a movie. That was like on Sci-Fi Channel. The puppets and Demonic Toys looked like shit. I don't know if it was just they redesigned the puppets or the way it was filmed. They looked like even the puppets looked like shit in that movie. The redesigns look terrible. The puppets here look cool. And like these first couple, they look cool. That helps. And these films don't really have a lot of special features, which is too bad. Like I would like to hear more of that story. I would like to hear. David Allen might have passed away. If he didn't, I want to hear his point of view on what happened. And this producer David DeCato talking shit about him. I want to know. I want to know. I want to live. I want to live. But yeah, Puppet Master 2, I still like. It's flawed, but I still like the film for what it is. Like I said, at least I was not as bored. It's a pretty short film. It's like an hour and 20-some minutes if you take out the end credits. So I got a bit more out of this one than the first one. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.